Hey, what's up everybody? Back again for another Showdown Live, and today we're actually going to be doing some RU. Now, I actually used this team back in that post-narrated battle that I did a couple uploads ago, and I thought, you know what, I've been wanting to play some RU again, so we're actually going to be doing a Showdown Live today. Now, I built this team around Sub-Combine Crest, which I kind of went through the team a little bit in the time before, but I'm just going to go through it now, and that's Sub-Combine Crest, Flame Charge Nasty Plot Houndoom, Support Cabaleon, Assault Vest Mixed Embor. The speed is enough to outrun Jellicent, and the special attack lets me I believe it's two-shot Gastrodon. I don't remember exactly what, but I think it was so I could either Oko or two-shot Gastrodon with Grass Knot. Aromatisse to help me deal with Scarf Moltres, which right now they're actually suspecting Moltres and Pangoro in RU, which is really nice. And then Honeclaw's Durant. So let's look for a battle. It could be a minute because there aren't really too many people playing RU in general. So I'm gonna pause till we find a battle. I'll be back in or not. We can find a battle right away, which is actually kind of good. But let's see what he's got. And my opponent has a pretty scary team, I'll say that. He's got Alomomola, which I kind of have a deep hatred for Alomomola for multiple reasons, actually. The Blade shouldn't be too bad. Clawitzer I can deal with, but it's annoying. Braviary Braviary is going to be annoying. Bronzong's a non-issue, and a Selgor is just going to die right from the start. But unfortunately, I don't have a defogger on this team, so I do have to be careful. I think I'm just going to lead right off with my Houndoom. I think it just... if he leads off with the Excelgor, which I'm pretty sure he's going to, like, this team not having a defogger is easily the biggest flaw to it. But I'm going to pause it till he makes a move, so I'll be back in a sec. As my opponent actually leads off with the Bronzong, which is flat out amazing for me. And I think I'm just going to go straight for the Dark Pulse. I really don't risk anything. Because he's Balloon, he might actually have the Heat Proof, or he could be Balloon with Levitate. I wouldn't rule anything out. But, you know, as he just sets up Stealth Rock, which is amazing for me, because I can get a kill with Flame Charge, which is great, because it allows me to outspeed the Selgor and be able to hit it with the Flamethrower. Alomomola, if he goes into it, it's going to be a little annoying. Clawitzer could be Assault Vest, but he can't go to the Blade. He really can't go to Braviary, as my opponent does go into Clawitzer. And I still want to keep my Houndoom healthy, as I can't go into my Embor. I can't take too many hits. I'm just going to go to my Aromatisse. It's definitely my safest thing to go to. As my opponent just goes for the Water Pulse. That was a crit. That's clearly not Specs. It's more than likely going to be Assault Vest, at least based on the damage it did. But because he got that crit, I tend to just always go my opponent Heat. But because my opponent got that crit, I'm actually forced to go for the Wish, and I think I'm forced to just protect as much as I really don't want to, just because of that crit. But I'm able to get off the Protect, which is good, as my opponent just stays in and goes for an attack, and I really don't risk anything by just wishing again. But let's see what happens, as my opponent's just pretty content just staying in and clicking Water Pulse, and hopefully I'll be able to get a special attack drop with Moonblast, but I don't see it. Like I said, hopefully I'm able to get a special attack drop. Of course not on the Braviary, because Braviary does have the ability Defiant, as my opponent goes into a Selgor, which that's completely the wrong play. And I'm going to be able to get out of this, because I'm definitely just clicking Moonblast again. But this is going to be annoying, because I'm going to have to deal with Stealth Rock and Spikes, as my opponent actually just goes straight for the Recover, which I am able to get a special attack drop, but it's not going to be anything serious, as I'm just going to go for Moonblast again. If my opponent wants to go into Deblade really shouldn't be able to do too much, which is pretty good. Clawitzer is still a little annoying, but I've already shown that I beat Clawitzer. As yeah, my opponent does go into Deblade. And that is... Houndoom is definitely going to be able to revenge kill it, there's no question about that, but I really don't want to switch straight into a potential Secret Sword, and I don't want my Houndoom taking any unnecessary damage. My safest play is probably just going straight into my Cobalion, because I can easily take any hit and just get off a taunt. Yes, this thing does beat my Cobalion one-on-one, which does suck, but being able to get off a taunt is going to be really nice. My opponent actually goes for the Autotomize, which is definitely a little scary, I'll say that. It shouldn't be too bad, because I do have my Emboar who's healthy, so as long as it's not able to get off a Sword Dance, I should be fine. I'm just going to attempt to taunt this thing. Of course, now, unless my opponent actually has... What is it? What's that move? Unless my opponent actually has the Sacred Sword, this thing really shouldn't be that much of an issue. It's a little annoying in the fact that it has Autotomize. As long as it's not Double Dance, this thing is a complete non-issue. But being able to get off a taunt is actually going to be really nice, because nothing on his team except a Clawitzer actually wants to take the taunt. And if my opponent goes on Clawitzer, I'll just Volt Switch. I mean, it could very well be Scarf Clawitzer, but based on the structure of my opponent's team, I'm actually pretty sure that it's going to be Assault Vest. So let's just see what ends up happening, as my opponent's taking a little while. Hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. I want to get in a couple battles. But considering I'm running balance, it's like my games are going to be a little bit longer just by default. So let's see what ends up happening. And I'm just going to pause till my opponent either times out or make a move. So I'll be back in a second. As my opponent actually was Double Dance, but surprisingly my Cobalion actually still outspeeds the Deblade even at +2. I guess it just shows you how slow Deblade really is. So I'm going to be able to get up my Stealth Rocks, which is going to be nice. Because for starters, it's going to put the Acelgor at 10%, and it's going to give me some extra damage against Braviary, which is really nice. And with this little piece of shit, I'm going to be... You know, I'm going to taunt it first. I'm expecting either Wish or Scald, and honestly, I don't... Toxic. Okay, that's a good play, too. Okay. Getting a Durant Hone Claws up would be really nice for this game. I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. It's definitely my best play, as my opponent goes to Clawitzer, which that's absolutely perfect. That's definitely not Assault Vest, because it took way too much damage. What item is that? I have no idea. I go to Emboar, it's not a good play. Emboar just cleans up this game. Well, I could probably take one, but I really don't want to. I'm just going to go back into my Aromatisse. It's really safe, actually. And I do still have my Cobalion, who I know is actually faster than the Deblade, even at +2, which is good. And at this point, I think I can just put a Wish in the air. I really risked nothing. As my opponent just goes back into Deblade, which is completely fine. I really want to go straight into my Houndoom, knowing I can take any hit and then retaliate. Yeah, I'm going to make that play. Probably not the best play in the world, but this is about as safe. This is about as close to a safe switch in a Houndoom without death foddering something as I'm going to get. So, as my opponent just goes for the Autotomize again, I don't know why, considering I could have just gone straight back into my Cobalion. But I guess it's not really a bad play at the same time. Dark Pulse is by far my safest play here. Like I said, unless my opponent has the Sacred Sword, if it's dual stab like I think it is, and I'm still faster. Yeah, Deblade, you're really slow. That is hysterical. Let's see. Acelgor is a non-issue. Braviary is still a little annoying. Alomomola, if it comes in, I'm just gonna set, which it does. Let me just calc Scald and Waterfall respectively. Houndoom. Oh, you, doesn't really matter. Pretty sure I'm hasty. Let me just make sure that I'm pretty sure I'm hasty. Yes, I am. Alomomola, are you defensive? Scald does 35 to 41. What about Waterfall? Waterfall does a lot. Let's see. The good thing is my Crest absolutely destroys this. You know, screw it. I'm just gonna go for a Nasty Plot. I don't think he's gonna have the Waterfall. They almost always run Scald over that, and I'm gonna be able to hit something because he has to either Scald or Toxic this turn, and it's gonna allow me to get off at least one Nasty Plot boosted hit, which is gonna be really nice because no matter what I hit, I'm going to get a kill. Sure, and being able to get a kill on just about anything on his team is really nice, actually. I'm actually expecting my opponent to either go straight to the Toxic, possibly the Scald, or even double switch. But I don't think a double switch is going to end up happening. Or even the possibility of timeout. So let's see what happens. And I'm sorry about pausing so much, but I'm going to pause again until my opponent makes a move, because it's looking like a possible timeout. So I'll be back in a second. As my opponent ends up going for the knockoff, which is horrible for my opponent. Which, at this point, I think I can actually go for the Flame Charge and just win. You know what, I'm just gonna get a kill with Dark Pulse. If I can get a Flame Charge off on anything, I just win. But yeah, that Alomomola just disappeared. Okay, Braviary is still, if it's Scarf, it's a minor threat. If it's not Scarf, it's fine. Clawitzer does the Dark Pulse. Yet again, Clawitzer does the Dark Pulse. It could be, I don't think it's going to be Scarf, and it is. Well, that would explain why I wasn't taking leftover, I wasn't getting leftovers recovery, life orb damage, and why it took so much. That makes sense. I go to Crest, I still have to deal with that. That wouldn't be an issue. You know, I'm actually just gonna go to Crest instead of a Calm Mind. I think it's... Actually, I'm just gonna... do I want to go to Crest? Yeah, I definitely want to go to Crest, with no question. I think going for Psyshock is actually my best play at this point, because it'll kill a Selgor. Braviary shouldn't switch in, as he stays in crits me. Well, that sucks. That actually really sucks. Because if I go for sub, then I'm in range of Bug Buzz. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay in and go for the side shot again. As I get a crit. Doesn't matter, but I get a crit. Braviary is only a threat if it's sub bulk up, which could still be a big problem actually. But I do have my Cobalion to shut it down, as my opponent just goes into a Selgor. I'm just gonna... this is tough. I think I'm just gonna try to fodder off my Crest. If it goes... Yes, my opponent does go for Bug Buzz, which was good. I'm able to get rid of the Selgor with Life Orb, which is really good for me. And now by going into my Cobalion, I don't have to risk the Braviary being sub-bulk up, because I can just taunt it. And if I end up getting, like, smashed by a superpower, then that is completely fine. But taunt is by far my best play at this point. As it is bulk up, which is, again, really good for me. I'm going to be able to get off a Volt Switch. And at this point, I can definitely sack that... Oh shit, it's weakness pal. Oh shit. Well, that just... Oh shit. That's not good! That's really bad, actually. I did not expect that. Well, the way of winning this is gonna be with Brave Bird Recall. What? This thing is... Oh god. I just died! That's hysterical! Well, back to Cavalion. How many turns do I have left? I can Volt Switch out here. Sack one more thing, and I should be fine. Which I'm just gonna fodder off my my M4. I have to admit, if I didn't like, that is absolutely terrifying. As he goes for strength. Okay. And I miscounted the taunt turns. That sucks. Well, it didn't end up mattering. What? Why do you have strength? Well... Oh, that's why they reset my points. That explains it. I have to admit, that was genuinely hilarious. Oh my god, weakness policy Braviary. What? Is this like a mono fish team or something? What? What? I'm just gonna leave with Cresselia, who pretty much beats everything that's not named Quagsire. And yeah. That's a free substitute. I know I'd be possibly setting up in the on the face of a Quagsire, as yeah, Volt Switch isn't even gonna break the sub, which is really good. I gotta make more RU teams. I really do. Like I genuinely enjoy RU. I really do. It's one of my favorite tiers. But if my opponent goes into anything but Quagsire, it's fine. No matter what, I can, as my opponent goes into Malamar, which I'm just gonna click Moonblast against. I don't know why you went into Malamar. That was probably the worst thing you could have gotten. Like, Feraligatr and my opponent has Foul Play. Are you one of those people who thinks that Foul Play uses your attack? Question mark. I'm just gonna go for Moonblast again, as Foul Play is going to do a clean, like, probably 30%. I don't see it doing any more. Not even close. Not even close. And that does nothing. Why do you have to have that Quagsire? It's the only thing on your team that's even, like, mildly annoying. Because my setups don't work. Screw it, I'm just Moonblasting again. If my opponent pulls off, like, the knockoff or something, which would surprise me if my opponent actually has, considering the team, and... Well, that's a Duke. That has gotta be an Assault Vest Dugong. That's the only thing that's starting to make any sense. I'm going into Cavalion, I don't care. If I can get up my Stealth Rocks, Malamar is dead, half his team is Ice types. Signal Beam, that does literally... But why'd you get the confusion? That would have done less than 0. I'm just gonna set up my rocks, I don't care. This is... Oh, Hidden Power. That's interesting. I'm gonna click Close Combat at this point. Because even if you want to go on a Quagsire, you ignore my defense drops, which is actually kind of hilarious. Yeah, I don't know why Yeah, okay, my opponent makes the correct play and just... Oh, but I hit myself in confusion anyway, so it doesn't matter. At least my opponent made the correct play, and that was sacking dead Malamar. But what are you going to do now? As my opponent goes into Walrein, the other Pokemon who's weak to Cavalion. Okay. Let's just click close combat, and I hit myself again as my opponent hits and crits me with Earthquake. you know... Okay. Okay. I have this little thing called Embor. I'm going into it. Unless you go straight into Lantern, something is getting bopped right now. Even if you want to go to Quagsire, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm clicking Wild Charge. You go to Quagsire, I'm going to Grass Knot. Anything else except for Lantern... Anything else except for Lantern... Okay, he does go into Quagsire, which is completely fine with me. Because I'm going for Grass Knot. Embor, you're so good. You're terrible in the upper tiers. Well, not as much now because you have Reckless. You're still not very good, but you're so good in the lower tiers. And get destroyed. I'm just waiting for him to be like, oh, Grass Knot, what the fuck? It's gonna be so much fun. Come on, dude, make a move. I know you don't have. I know you don't have any viable moves, but come on, make a move. Goes in a Lantern. Okay, realized I can't really do crap. Okay, that's a good play. I'm gonna go to my Aromatisse and hopefully wish pivot to Crest and just win. Oh, okay. Or your offensive Lantern. I'll just go for Wish. That's more than likely an Assault Vest Lantern based on... Or... That did quite a bit, actually. Let's just go to Crest. Just don't burn me, okay? I'm asking you nicely, just please don't burn me. That did way too much. Please don't burn me again. If you don't burn me now, I win. Right now. Come on, Crest. You have the power. You have the power to not get burned. Okay, I apologize about that. My opponent actually switches straight into Dugong. I'm gonna go for Substitute. I'm going for game. Given a Signal Beam shouldn't be able to do anything because it's Frost Breath. The move that always crits. Still didn't break the sub. Let's just Calm Mind again. And this is definitely game. As my opponent goes for Signal Beam. Super effective hit. After a crit. Still didn't break the sub. Let's click Psyshock. Crest, you're so good. I don't know why you weren't suspected, even though you're probably gonna move to UU in 2 months or whatever it is now. Frost Breath. Okay. I'm gonna set up a substitute again. And proceed to sweep your team. So yeah, I'll probably... I might end up just speeding this part up just for shits and giggles. You're probably bored out of your mind watching this, so unless it's already in Mickey Mouse mode, which would probably be kind of funny. So from there, we go get rid of this. You know, I'm just gonna pause it when I win, so. I'll pause it with another battle, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that was a pretty easy win. Crest just went on to kill everything. And this is a very interesting team, I'll say that much. I gotta be careful. This team is kind of scary, actually. Ambipom is looking kind of annoying. Kabaleon puts in a significant amount of work. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with my Kabaleon. It just puts in way too much work to not lead off with it. As my opponent does lead off with Shitbipom. And let's just go for Stealth Rocks, just on the off chance my opponent wants to go straight into Tangrowth. It's more than likely going to go Fake Out, Repeat. And now I find out that it doesn't actually have a Life Orb, which is good because Life Orb, it's a good item. Ambipom mindlessly clicking Fake Out like that, not the best. You have Taunt, this is the turn to still not go for it because I'm a Kabaleon. You either have, and you U-turn. I'm going to be able to get off my Stealth Rocks, and you're going to, let's actually look at that damage number to see exactly how much damage Kabaleon and the Ambipom will have inflicted. Nice and clean 4 damage. Interesting. I'm just going to click Close Combat. If this thing wants to go for Shadow Sneak and be really cheeky like that to get away with dodging a Close Combat, good. All credit to my opponent. He'll inflict probably 15%, maybe. As this has Fake Out too. And it's Life Orb. You're still not inflicting like that. That is not damage. I'm just gonna go for it again. I don't know what you're doing. Gone. Crit did not matter, I knew it was spread. Please make the correct play and go into Tangrowth. I'm asking you nicely, friend to friend. Or forfeit. Okay. Okay. Let's find another game. I'm surprised there's this many people on the RU ladder, I really am. And this team is absolutely terrifying. Especially because my opponent is utilizing Rockhead Tyrantrum, who is completely terrifying. Yet another team that doesn't like Kabaleon one bit. I'm just going to lead with it. If my opponent leads with either that, or possibly that, I'm just gonna click Close Combat. It's my best play, it really is. If my opponent wants to either stay in and hit me with either... Okay, once I got. That's fine. The crit might have mattered. I'm actually expecting my opponent to go for Encore here and then try to sub. So... Emboar is definitely a play I could make. Emboar is actually amazing against my opponent's team. Durant puts in Durant just wins if I can get a Home Clause. Crest loses to this, Aromatisse loses to this, and Houndoom I really don't want to switch in on a Moonblast. I'm just gonna go to Emboar. It's looking kind of safe. Unfortunately, it'll bait that in, which I have to be really careful about, because if that comes in, it just kills something as my opponent goes for Substitute. I could have taunted you. I very well could have taunted you. This thing is gonna be annoying. This is gonna be really, really annoying. Let's see. I'm just clicking Flare Blitz. This is my safest play at this point. Emboar is so fat that where this thing is, as he misses Leech Seed, which is amazing for me. As I'm going for Grass Knot. He's bringing in Tyrantrum. Come on, Emboar. You got this. I believe in you. I believe in you, Embor. Come on, opponent, make. Leech Seeds again. Why? I don't know. My name is Embor. And now I don't want to get Encore. I'm scared of Encore, so I'm going into my Cabaleon so I can toss this thing. Because it's annoying. It's really annoying. Like, Whimsicott, it's good. Except for this. And he Leech Seeds me again. Why am I starting to think that this thing is non-attacking? I'm just gonna taunt it. As it substitutes. Please be non-attacking. I'm asking you nicely. I'm just gonna Volt Switch on the off chance that it is non-attacking. And also so I can take less from Leech Seed. I should be in a good enough position as my opponent stays in. That's fine. I get a free switch into my Durant at this point. Because I should be in a good enough position as my opponent has Giga Drain, which is perfectly fine. 1, 2. This is the last turn, so I can get on court after this. I'm just gonna go for Iron Head. As my opponent brings in Tyrantrum. It just died. It just died. I'm not even Life Orb. I'm not even Choice Band. It just died. Let's see what my opponent does this time. Hopefully goes into Alomomola. That would be the correct play. Whimsicott is not the correct place. Chinchino is not the correct play. Abomasnow is completely the wrong play. And I have to weaken that Alomomola. That's the problem. The good thing is the instant death button known as Tyrantrum managed to accomplish absolutely nothing this game. So, let's see what my opponent does. Like I said, hopefully... Nope. Durant. Okay, that's also a viable... And that was also a pretty decent play. Should I even... Screw it, I'm risking the speed tie. I'm going for Superpower. I'm able to get off a nice chunk of health, which is really good. My opponent actually goes for Rock Slide. At least I know he's not Choice. Let's see. Don't want to risk. You'll lose to this. Cabaleon is honestly fine if I can, because I can't force the Super. Yeah, this thing is annoying. This thing just, it's good, but it's annoying. I have my own Embor, so it's not even an issue. I'm just gonna go for Superpower again. If he wants to switch, that's fine. No, I'm just noticing the double blue spray. I thought I was the only person who liked blue. Okay, so my opponent was either not running max speed, or I won 2 speed ties and managed to hit through Hustle twice in a row. So I'm not complaining. That's always nice. Let's see what my opponent does this time, because this is probably going to be the last battle of the live. We're almost at 35. We're almost at 34 minutes right now, and I don't want to keep these too long, as my opponent finally goes in Alomomola. So, let's see. I'm just gonna go straight back into my Cresselia. GG, I guess. Goes for Scald. Hopefully he doesn't get a burn. Nope. Not allowed. Well, I took a risk. It didn't work. Let's see. You know, I'm just gonna go straight to my Embor. I'm just in that I don't care mode right now, so I'm just gonna go on Embor, flick Wild Charge, watch something die. As that is damage. That is apparently damage. Yeah, I can just safely Wild Charge at this point, because if my opponent wants, as my opponent goes to Toxic, Wait a minute. Aloe, I knew you were fat. I didn't... Holy shit, you're fat. Oh my god. I was expecting like 70% minimum. Oh my god, Aloe, you're fat. I'm just gonna aromatherapy. I'm slightly intimidated now. This thing is a threat. I mean, it's a giant setup fodder for my Cresselia, but that's a threat. And, you know what? I'm going to try to win this game with my Durant. I think I can. Even though Durant is kind of garbage against my opponent. But, well, it got rid of two things, and he's pretty content with just going for Toxic. Which, at this point, I'm going to try to pass straight into my Cresselia. I'm going to try. Double Toxic would suck. I don't expect Scald. Don't burn me. No! Alomomola, I hate you so much. Oh, Alomomola. I really don't like you. Let's try this again. I'm gonna go for Wish. My opponent's probably gonna go for Toxic. Hopefully not in a Whimsicott. Scald. That's fine. Now I go for Aromatherapy very safely. This Alomomola is annoying. It's really, really annoying. Scald. That's fine. Do I want to... I'm going to try to Wish Pass into my Durant. If my opponent goes for Toxic, that's fine. I'm really not that concerned by that. I just... As my opponent goes for Toxic. I'm actually expecting double Toxic. I'm expecting Cress. But... Let's see what happens. These Scald Burns are really, really annoying, though. Because I would have been able to set up a sub... And the only... As my opponent goes into Chinchino, which is perfect. Couldn't have gone any better. And I'm just gonna go for Hone Claws. Please don't be King's Rock. I'm asking you nicely. Please do not be King's Rock. And I'm faster for some reason. Okay. That did way too much. Is that Adamant? I'm pretty sure that is Adamant. I'm just gonna go for Iron Head. It's definitely my safest play at this point. And if I lose my Durant, so be it. It just died. Durant, you're so strong. You're so strong. You've gotten so many kills. Okay, GG again, question mark. I'm just gonna click Iron Head again. I'm not gonna feel bad about those Leech Seed misses. At all. Durant and Crest, yeah, you're so good. Why are you not going into Alomomola? I don't understand. Why are you not going into Alomomola? The one thing that kind of stops me. It just died. I don't understand this. Why are you not going to Alomomola? Now you go to Alomomola. It's your last poke. That's why you went to Alomomola, but now you decide to go into it. I'm just going to keep clicking Crunch. If I can get some defense drops, it'll be really nice. Because... as my opponent is 3 for 3 with Scald Burns. And I'm gonna attempt to go into my Crest on not Toxic and hopefully not Scald. Plus, preserving the 6-0 would be kind of nice. Am I being a dick? Possibly. Not sure yet. Yes, sir, I have a Lumberry. Wish? That's game. Yeah, that's game. Okay. Yeah, very game. And now I'm gonna proceed to start combining. Very... There's no way my opponent wins this. Like, you cannot... Like, there's no possible way my opponent can win this game. I will go... Yep. As my opponent realizes it. Forfeits, not wasting both of our time. And I think I'm just gonna call it there. So, yeah, not really high on the ladder at all. Got one decent opponent, had one kind of derpy opponent. I might do another live with this team. Like, I might rank up a little bit and then do another live with this team. This team is actually a lot of fun. And I really enjoy RU. So, until next time, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Check out my channel if you want to see a little bit more content. And until next time, later guys.